The purpose of this video is to demonstrate features on the Design and Layout contextual tabs in building a Word table. I have a table started here. As a reminder, when my table is not selected or I've not clicked inside my table, my two contextual tabs are not open up here. So make sure you've clicked inside your table. Then you have the Design and Layout tabs available. Let's look at some of the features on the Design tab. These items here that are already checked are ones that are on by default to show me the lines for the first column, the header row, and banded rows. These options here then change my table styles, and I can see I have some more line and shading options here. I'll turn those back off. Clicking on the drop-down arrow here, as I hover my mouse pointer over various table styles, I can see then in the live preview behind me what my table will look like. I do have the option then of doing my own shading and borders rather than choosing from the table styles. So for example, if I select my header row right here, go to the Shading tab, and choose a color, then I can customize that. I can then select my entire table by using this icon right here. Go to my borders, and I could set this to have just outside borders only. Whoops, I took that backwards. I turned off my outside borders. I'll put those back on. And by removing various borders here, I'll take out the inside borders, I start to have something that looks like this. I'll click Undo. Maybe easier in this example would be to go to the Borders and Shading box right here. This allows me to make all of my choices inside one box right here. This preview right here, you'll want to set this to the view that you desire before clicking OK, and it is applying it to this table. So if I chose to do something different, I'll do a double line border. And if I wanted to give it a color. So now I can see my preview shows a double line border in red. When I click on OK, then that's been applied to my table over here. On the Layout tab then, these are some various controls you have for your table as far as sizing the columns, changing the heights of the rows, adding and deleting columns, things like that. This button up here can be used for table selection. I did show you some options for table selection in part 1 of Word tables, where I was using icons for selecting out here. But this will allow you to select table, row, column, cell, etc. Adding in rows and columns. I did this in part 1 as well, just by selecting and using the right click instead, but it's the same icons up here. In merging cells together, you select a group of cells. So I'm going to select all 3 of these in this row, and I merge those together, and now I have one cell. In splitting cells, you select a cell, go to Split Cells, and then you choose the number of columns. I'm going to leave the row same. It'll be one row, but I'm going to split that into 2 columns. And so now I've taken that one particular selection and split it that way. This would be for adjusting height and width. Again, you'll want to select your rows or columns first. And then these alignments are very helpful in that you can have the data in a selected cell or row or column. You can choose to have it sitting centered, over to the right, back to the left, some various alignments here. The trick with all of these, though, is be sure and first have your cell, your row, and or column, whatever you want, you have it selected first. Then you can go and choose your options up here.